When Avengers come out, I'm there like, okay, who's going?
In your Avengers outfit.
Oh yeah, like a big kid at heart.
Hello, game changers, and welcome to BEN, the Business and Employment News Network. I'm your host, Jeanette Eng, and you are watching Women in Business, the show dedicated to profiling the unique journey of female entrepreneurship. Today, we are thrilled to be sitting down with a female entrepreneur in the fashion world who has fashioned a career out of outfitting superheroes just like us. Terese Sydonna is a modern landscape where art, fashion, and comfort intersect. She is also the Jamaican-born, Bronx-bred designer behind a contemporary ready-to-wear and accessories brand designed for the superhero in all of us. After launching Terese Sydonna in 2011, the collection has received rave reviews from Charleston Magazine to the Philadelphia Inquirer, has hit runways from Fashion Rocks to Charleston Fashion Week, and has adorned celebrities such as MC Lyte for Centric TV. Of her line, the designer says, "I want everyone to feel powerful and confident when wearing Terese Sydonna." So what fascinates me about your career is that you've got the eye for fashion and the brains for business right off the bat. I saw that you worked for Lehman Brothers and Goldman Sachs. Before you worked for Jimmy Choo and Marc Jacobs, you have a dual degree in economics and studio art. Did you plan it this way, or did you do a career shift?
I never planned any of this, and I sort of fell into it in the sense that I always wanted to be a business owner. So I knew I wanted to own something, but I just wasn't sure if it was going to be my own line or if I was to be the designer or the business person. So I kind of, along the way, figured out exactly what my calling was. But one thing I was really passionate about was business and being as educated as possible as I could be before I started my line. That is why I had the opportunity to intern at Goldman Sachs and Lehman Brothers and really took those skills with me for my next life, my next career, when I started working in buying at Lord & Taylor and then in sales at Marc Jacobs and Jimmy Choo.
Was that enough for you to just drive towards that goal, or were there other clarifying moments that let you know this was your path?
Being an immigrant and being the oldest in my family, my mother in particular was really worried about me choosing a creative career that potentially might not work out. Back then, you were taught that doing design, you'd be a starving artist forever, kind of thing. And it would be good to be an accountant, a doctor, lawyer, those kinds of things that I feel all immigrant families, you know, kind of like lead you towards, you know? But I just never saw myself doing that, and the more I tried to fit that mold, the more I saw that I was different. I had to create something for myself. A pivotal moment for me was being laid off from Lord & Taylor when the recession hit. While other people were sad about being laid off, I was like skipping out the door. It was just like, yes, this is my chance to like really break free of finance, of buying, merchandising, sales, and to really do what I've always wanted to do that I think was in my heart that I was kind of scared to pursue. And that moment I said, I'm gonna go back to school. Like, this is a chance. No one will judge me. We all don't have jobs anyway. Now's the perfect time. And I went back to FIT to get my fashion design degree. And that, you know, was the moment I began to live, really.
So let's talk about what you've learned in the business world. Were there things that you've really picked up that are really key components of the way that you run your company?
What I learned in starting this business in my company is that sometimes no matter how hard you work or how many amazing pieces you design, sometimes it's just not your time. And you just have to be patient and wait for that moment when it's correct, and then, you know, the next thing you'll be famous. Another thing that I learned was just the importance of being prepared. And when I say prepared, that means your samples have to be on point. There cannot be any mistakes. There can't be any stains. When you go to the boutique, your lookbook has to be flawless. You know, your presentation is a representation of your line, just being well-spoken. Having a story, wowing them with that story and really creating a mood so that they fall in love with your clothing. I feel like I did an MBA course, you know, just on that alone and learning about branding and marketing and things like that, but it really works. And it's so effective. Once you figure that out, you're like, okay, I got the formula, now I'm gonna run with it. Having a really strong support system is key in all that you do. If you're a business owner, or if you've even tried some fabulous idea that you had and you've quit your 9 to 5, you know it is incredibly hard to continue to do something like that, where some months you might not make any money, and then other months might be amazing. So I have amazing friends and family who've kind of rallied around me and my dream. You know, like no one will be as supportive or excited about your dream as you, but having a strong support system around you makes it a lot more tolerable and a lot more easy to get through. And they always keep things in perspective for me because I'm the kind of person who plans everything, constantly thinking ahead, the next best thing, trying to predict what people will love, what they'll hate, what colors will sell. So a lot of times I don't live in the moment, and they remind me of that, the importance to recognize where I started, where I am now, and just how an amazing of a job I've done on my own to build this brand from nothing.
Talk about this story that you craft to wow people. I want to give you a chance to present your story.
One of the things that I learned was the importance of branding. Who's to say you're going to purchase something from me versus a Marc Jacobs or a bigger brand that's been around for 20 years? The way we separate ourselves as designers is to really capture that story. And for me, I always dig deep. If you know me, you know that I am like superhero fanatic, comic books. I want to just make something so awesome that people would feel the same way. And that's how I approached the clothing. It was just like, how can I convey my happiness, just those amazing childhood memories of watching X-Men or seeing your favorite superhero save the day. And that's what my clothing is about. If you look at it, there's a happiness to it. It's very bright, it's very bold. The prints tell a story of their own, they draw you in, it's a conversation piece. And that is how my childhood was. You know, watching those cartoons, and just like we'd talk about it endlessly, or I would pretend I was Storm or something. And that's how these leggings came to be. They're called the superhero cutout leggings that would save the day for a woman. You're traveling, you're busy, you're hot, you're cold, it has cutouts in it, it'll keep you cool. You know, you're on a plane for 15 hours, they're so comfortable you forget that you have on pants, they're not restricting. And that's how they came to be. And these are our best-selling leggings today because women who travel and who have that lifestyle value that, and they can recall that, and they're like, okay, my go-to pants.
Let's talk to the female entrepreneurs out there. What might you want to say to them?
First and foremost, dream big, believe in yourself. Times have changed where the traditional may not work for everyone, and it's important to create your own path when that happens. And also, it's important to do your homework, learning as much as you can, researching, perfecting your craft, just trying it over and over again until you find a formula that is perfect for you and your customer. And lastly, I would say perfecting your craft is extremely important. I think a lot of people want to take shortcuts and just create this fashion line overnight, but I would suggest taking courses, going to school, really learning how to sew, how garments should look, really falling in love with your craft and figuring out how it's done the correct way. There's nothing that gives me more joy than seeing my sample and it being just perfect. It's like a brand new bag, you know, like a brand new pair of shoes. It brings tears to my eyes. It's like, oh my God, yes, it's perfect.
Okay, will you play a game with me?
It depends.
So I'll pick a quote and then you just tell me what the Terese Sydonna take on it is.
Okay.
If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah? So if it's uncomfortable, if you feel like you're out of your comfort zone and challenged,
That's good.
it's a good thing.
That's good. If what you dream of does not scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough.
All right, that's Terese Sydonna. The first one was Zig Ziglar. Okay, Tim Ferriss says, resolve to do one thing every day that you fear.
Again, if you're not uncomfortable by it, if you're not dreaming so large, who's really going to believe you and really see your story through if you don't believe it yourself?
Well, actually, this reminds me that someone told me the absence of fear is not realistic, but action in the presence of fear is what's called courage.
Oh,
so here is a little bit of Chinese wisdom from Bruce Lee. The stiffest tree is most likely cracked, while the willow or bamboo survives by bending with the wind.
Absolutely true. In life, in your career, you must be flexible. And I think the people who are more uptight and don't like change tend to be that stiff tree in that analogy. Whereas if you're more flexible, you know, there may be more paths or more opportunities created for you because you're okay with that. And I tend to find that people who like change tend to do better.
Embrace change.
Yeah.
That goes for points of view too, just being open-minded and not stiff in your point of view. And the last one, I love this, Lori Greiner, who's in Shark Tank, I think. She says, entrepreneurs are the only people who work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week.
That is so true. But, Lori, another way to look at it is entrepreneurs are also people willing to work the way majority of people wouldn't for 3 years to enjoy the rest of their lives.
Right. They're gonna work the way that most people don't want to work now to be able to live the way that most people want to live
in the future.
Later.
Yes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much for playing, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for another compelling episode of Women in Business. We hope that you have been inspired and that you female entrepreneurs out there are galvanized to put your magic out there in the world. I'm your host, Jeanette Eng, and thank you for tuning in to BEN.
I'm a unicorn in that sense.
I love unicorns. You also, I love what you said about excellence and preparation. It takes a lot of preparation to look effortless.
I know, right?
You'd be surprised.